Oh my God, I am on hold with the Dave Ramsey Show right now. This is so exciting.
Hey everybody, I'm Jen and I'm with the Budget Bounce, and I just wanted to share a little bit in this video about my call with Dave Ramsey. Yep, I got through. So let's get to it. So on Friday, March 23rd, I called into the Dave Ramsey Show. I actually had been thinking about doing this for most of 2 weeks, but my work schedule is so hectic. His show is on from 1 to 4 p.m. and it's very rare that I actually have enough time to try to get through and actually wait to get on to a national radio show. So it happened that this past Friday, I had the afternoon free. I'm not really sure how that happened, but it did. And so I had tried one other day earlier in the week where I had about an hour open, and I literally dialed over and over and over again for 30 minutes. And I never did get through. And then I ran out of time. So on Friday, I had the whole afternoon open. So I went ahead and I called, and I was absolutely shocked when I got through. The reason why I had been thinking about calling Dave was because I had several questions, but the most pressing one on Friday came out of my previous weekend's tax appointment, where I learned that we were going to, after all tax prep fees and my husband's tax bill was going to be paid, that I learned that we were going to have $5,400 coming to us in a federal tax return. Now, this is unusual, and it's due to the fact that my husband, Matt, ended up not working for the last 6 months of last year. That's a long story that I'm not going to get into right now, but absolutely contributed to our financial health and, where we are with the Budget Bounce and the fact that it even exists and all of that good stuff. So I had a lot weighing on my mind. I was very surprised by all this money coming in, and I was confused as to what to do. I very briefly shared that Matt hasn't been working, and I'm wondering if we should use this to do the traditional snowball, or if we should pay down, or if we should use it to settle debts, old charged off debts. And I was really surprised by his answer. In the moment, I was very nervous and excited to be talking to Dave, but I was shocked at what he shared. He was very empathetic with our plight, and excuse me as I get a little emotional, because he can be really awesome that way. But it was a very short call. I was actually the very last one of the day, right before 3 o'clock. Now, it landed right in the middle of the replay that's available out on YouTube. But in the moment, I called and got through right before 4 o'clock. Right before 4 o'clock. So I was the last call that he took for that particular show. And so it was a very short call, but he immediately said, he clarified that we are not paying minimums on everything. And once he got that information from me, he said, I want you to stop the debt snowball, and I don't want you to pay anything with that money. I want you to put it in the emergency fund until you guys can get this figured out. So I was so shocked by that. Stop the debt snowball. Holy cow. I mean, we just got started a few weeks ago. February 1st was when we started baby step 1. And about a week later, we were in baby step 2, trying to figure out how to get to minimums. And, anyway, yeah, that was his advice. Put it all in the emergency fund, and, just focus on getting our minimums taken care of, and getting those up to speed, and trying to get those accounts current if possible. And then, of course, focusing on Matt's health and trying to get him back to work and that kind of thing. I did stop our debt snowball. I did tweak what Dave advised a little bit, and you'll see that in our March budget report. So I'm not going to go into that now, but I did not put it all in the emergency fund. So I just want to be clear on that. And I guess I'm not a Dave purist, but I had my sights set on a couple of things that I wanted to get taken care of. By the way, Kelly was awesome. Kelly was awesome. She was, he always talks about her, and she was super sweet on the phone. And I was on hold for a really long time. Like, it took me, I think, 15 or 20 minutes to finally get a call to go through. And then when she answered, I think I was on hold for almost 40 minutes. So this is no small endeavor. When you go to do this, this is a time-consuming process. And so don't think that you're going to get through and be on the phone on the air with him in 10 minutes. That's not going to happen. I've called 2 national shows. I'm sorry, 3. Over my lifetime, we've called 3 different shows, and we have had to be on hold on all of them. I've never gotten on the air in less than 30 minutes after they answered the phone. And it took a while to get them to answer the phone. So you can plan on, if you want to call and talk to Dave, I highly recommend it, but you need to have the time to be able to focus and sit in that queue until you come up and to be on the air with him. And it's really fun to listen to him talking to other people while you're on the phone. I mean, you're like hearing it in real time. And yeah. And so you're sitting on the phone. And then finally Kelly pops on and she says, "Okay, Jen, you're up next." So I knew as soon as the call he was on was done, he was going to be switching to me. I will also say, when I called and said I'm from Moline, Illinois, that she said, "What's the closest major city to you?" And I'm like, well, not that Moline's major, but it's a city. Like, apparently Moline's not good enough. Anyhow, so really the closest one is Chicago. So I was introduced as Jennifer from Chicago, even though we live 2.5 hours west of the west suburbs of Chicago. We're about 3 hours west of downtown Chicago. And so, anyway, and actually people around here, just so you know, in the Quad Cities, they get offended sometimes when they say, I'm from this place in Illinois. Oh, Chicago? No, we're not from Chicago. Chicago's on the other side of the state from us. Anyway, I spent 7 years in Chicago and had a great time up there. But absolutely where we are here is not Chicago. 20 minutes. Actually, if you look in the rear view mirror here, if you look behind me, behind that green SUV looking thing right there, if you look at that, first of all, there's snow on the ground and it's March 27th. So there's that. But what you see behind it, that brown stuff, sorry, I just totally videotaped the lady walking into work. The brown stuff back there, that is a field. And so one year they grow corn in it, and then the next year they grow beans in it. So literally, I'm right here. I'm on the edge of the Quad Cities, on the south edge where I work, and we're surrounded by cornfields. So that's where I am. You don't get that in Chicago. I lived up there for a really long time, and yeah, we didn't have that in Chicago. So, all right, guys. Well, with that, I just thought I'd share my experience. It was definitely worth it. It was an eye-opener for me. He spent maybe 90 seconds or 2 minutes with me, maybe a little longer, but it was great information. It was very applicable to our situation. We weren't just people calling in with stupid debt. We had a set of circumstances that changes things up a little bit. And, he spoke to me about our situation, just like he does with everybody else. He's very straightforward, very straightforward. If you listen to him, you already know that, but that was my experience with him as well. There's no foo-foo in between there. They're not cutting those calls and whatever, unless you happen to be on one that they go to a break in the middle of it. It's straight from the beginning to end, no editing. So anyhow, it was a great experience. And if you have a question for Dave, I encourage you to reach out to him anytime. So thanks, guys. And again, I'm Jen with the Budget Bounce. We are in the Quad Cities, right on the Iowa-Illinois border. The Mississippi River's right here, runs right down the middle of the Quad Cities. And I am a stepmom of 4, and I'm a grandma. And my husband and I have been married for 8 years, and we are on this endeavor to battle and kill off our debt starting on February 1st of this year. And so we are getting into it, and we're glad to have you along for the ride, and would love to hear from any of you. Feel free to comment below, and if you like this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up. And if you want to see more, we add content every Wednesday, so be sure to hit the subscribe button, and make sure to hit the bell so you get a notification that tells you when I post the new videos. So have a great day, and until next time, we'll see you then.